Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to this week's English lesson. This week we are going to read an exciting story called The Ugly Duckling. So let's dive right in.
Let's talk about some icky, tricky words that we might find in our story. Duckling, a baby duck. Hatch, when an animal comes out of an egg. Reflection, when you see yourself on a surface like a mirror. Dive, to jump headfirst into water. Tears, the water that comes out of your eyes when you cry. Ugly, when something does not look nice. Peeped, the sound that a duckling makes. Beep beep, but it could also mean looking around a corner. Gently, to handle something carefully or softly. The Ugly Duckling. This is the title of our story. Now, from the title, what do you think the story could be about? I think it might be about a duckling who is ugly. But in my picture, I see a few swans as well. So let's find out. Mother duck lives with her family on a farm. Mother duck sits on her eggs and waits for them to hatch. It is time for my eggs to hatch. I can't wait to see my 7 baby ducklings. Then, one by one, the eggs crack open, all except one very big egg. And we can see that egg right here. Hello, I'm Fluffy, said the first little duckling. I'm Temple, said the next newly hatched duckling. I'm Zaza, said the third. I am Nikki, said the fourth. How large the world is, peeped the little ducklings. And their mother hen is saying, I wonder when this big egg will hatch. I wonder what my last duckling will look like. What do you think the duckling will look like? 2 more ducklings hatch, but still the big egg does not crack open. Mother duck sits and sits on the big egg. The sun begins to set. Why would mother duck sit on the egg? I think it's because if she keeps it warm, it will hatch sooner. At last, the large egg cracks open. Out jumps the last baby duckling. It looks big and strong, but it does not look like any of the other newly hatched ducklings. And in our picture we can see that this duckling really does not look like the other ducklings. And he says, I'm out! What a big world! The next morning, Mother Duck takes all her baby ducks to the pond. Look at the last duck. What a strange looking baby that is, shouts the horse. Ha 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 ha! It is such a funny little duck, laughs the cow. And their mother hen says, hurry children, we're going to swim. Soon the 7 little ducklings jump into the pond. They swim and splash and dive in the water. And we can see everybody's splashing about and kicking. Some of them are upside down, but the little ugly duckling seems to be swimming fine. The ugly duckling swims better than the other ducklings. But the ugly duckling is not happy living in the farmyard. And we can see in the picture that those chickens are busy harassing him. They are teasing him and they don't look very friendly. The other animals are nasty to the ugly duckling. The hens peck him and the dogs bark at him. They are afraid of me because I am ugly, he said. One night, the ugly duckling decides to run away. Everyone is so nasty to me. I am running away, he said. Would you also run away if you were teased for being different? The little duck walks towards the river where he sees many beautiful big birds swimming. Their feathers are so smooth. They have long necks. Their wings flap gently as they fly. What kind of bird is that, guys? It's a swan. I wish I could play with them. They are so beautiful. I am so ugly, the little duckling said sadly. Snow starts to fall, and soon everything is white. It is very cold, and the river turns to ice. The poor ugly duckling is very cold and unhappy. I must hide away, said the little duck, and we can see the little duckling crying in the snow. But in our next picture, the background is different. And then comes spring. The sun shines again, and the trees are fresh and green. One morning, the little duckling walks towards the river, where he sees the big, beautiful birds again. They are swans, he whispered. Right, there we see our ugly duckling. But is he still ugly? No, he's changed a little bit. Let's see. He watches the swans and feels very sad, and he begins to cry. I'm so ugly. I'm all alone. I have no friends. But while he is crying, he looks down between his tears and he sees his reflection in the water. Is that me? He said. I'm a swan. And there we can see he's suddenly happy. Just then, some swans swim by. They call the ugly duckling to swim with them. The duckling jumps into the water and he lives happily ever after among the beautiful swans. And there we can see one of the swans saying something. Come and swim with us. You are a swan too. You are the most beautiful swan of all the swans. Right, what did we learn from this story? I learned a few things. You are unique, and everybody is different. We never look the same. But you are still special, even if you do look different. You are beautiful. So just be yourself. Right, a story is a little bit like a puzzle. There are many pieces, and all of these pieces make up our story. Now, a story has things that we call elements, and these elements include characters. So, who is in the story? The setting, which tells us where something happened, and then the key events. So, what happens in the story? So, let's break this puzzle up a little bit. Who are our characters? Who was in our story? First, we met Mother Duck and her little baby ducklings, and then we met the ugly duckling who did not look like the other ducks. Then we met some farmyard animals like the horse, the cow, and the chickens who pecked at him. And lastly, we met the beautiful swans. Right, so where did this story happen? It first started out in a pond on a farmyard where there were many animals living. But later, the little ugly duckling ran away and he ended up by a river where he met a few swans. So what happened in our story? First, ducklings were born. One of those ducklings was very ugly and he didn't look like the other little ducklings. The other animals teased him because he was different. So he ran away. I would also run away if I felt that way. After hiding for a whole winter, he discovered that he was actually a beautiful swan. And he now lived happily ever after with the other swans. Right, now for some fun. We are going to look at two pictures and see if we can spot the differences in them. Look very carefully. What differences do you see? The first one I see is a rock in the one picture, and in the other picture it is missing. Let's see if we can find some more. Right, the one duck is sad with his mouth closed, and the other duck is happy with his mouth open. Well done, guys. Let's see if we can find some more. That's right. The breeds in these two pictures are different. Did you spot these differences too? Let's see if we can find a few more. Right, there's grass missing in one of these pictures. Let's. Aha! Well done, guys. So the duck in the one picture has a stripe on his wing, while in the other picture there is no stripe. Excellent job, guys. Well done.
Right, we are now going to learn about something called verbs. Now, a verb is a word in a sentence that tells me what somebody is doing. So a verb is a doing word or an action word. How do I find a verb in a sentence? I ask a very simple question. Can I? So when you are looking for a verb, you ask the question, can I? A silly example. Can I run? Yes. Can I No. So which is the verb? Run. Now I've got some sentences on my board here, and we are going to try and find the verb in each of these sentences. How will I do it? I ask the question, can I? So let's jump straight in. The first sentence is, the eggs crack open. Let's try and find our verb. Can I No. Can I eggs? No. Can I crack? Yes, I can crack. Can I open? Yes. Right, so what is the verb in this sentence? Crack open. Well done, guys. Let's do the next sentence together. The ducks splash. Can I Can I ducks? Can I splash? The last sentence. The duck runs away. Can I No. Can I duck? No. Can I run? Yes. I can run. Can I away? No. So the verb in this sentence is runs. I want you to go and practice that with a few other sentences. Now for some phonics fun. Do you remember the witch named Air?
The story of magic air. There is a witch named Air. She likes to cast spells. She changes letter sounds to letter names. Let's see how she does it. This is the letter A. The sound it makes is A, but the letter name is A. Let's read the silly poem together. Jake the snake was wide awake. He wanted to bake a big cupcake. He went to the store to find and take the things he'd need to make that cake. Poor Jake started to shake and shake, for he had made a big mistake. He could not bake the big cupcake. Oh dear. Let's look at some of the words that we found in our poem. Jack. Jack, Jack. But when the witch named E comes around, she changes the A sound to an A sound. And now the word says Jake. Jake, Jake. This word says back. Back, back. But when the witch named E comes around, she changes the A sound into an A sound. And the word now says bake. Bake, bake. This word says cack. Cack, cack. But when the witch named E comes around, she changes the A sound into an A sound. And the word now says cake. Cake, cake. This word says tack. Tack, tack. But when the witch named E comes around, she changes the A sound into an A sound. And the word now says take. Take, take. If I play with these words and replace some letter sounds, I can make new words. So if I take away the T in take and replace it with a SN sound, I've got a new word. Snake. Snake, snake. If I take away the SN sound and replace it with a M sound, I get the word make. Make, make. If I take away the K sound in make and replace it with a T sound, I get the word mate. Mate, mate. Will you remember the witch named E?